I used to think my life was stable, safe, predictable. I woke up at the same time every morning, drank the same bitter coffee, wore the same suits, and went to the same office I had built with my own hands. My company meant everything to me. It was more than business. It was proof that I had survived every failure and every doubt people ever threw at me. I thought that as long as I had control there, nothing else in my life could fall apart. Then she appeared. Emily came into my world like sunlight, slowly filling a dark room. She didn't force her way into my life. She simply existed in it so gently that I didn't even notice when I began relying on her presence. She was warm, understanding, a quiet comfort I didn't realize I was desperate for. She started as just another employee, just another face among hundreds, but she wasn't like the others. She listened. She remembered small things about me. She laughed softly at my dry humor. When everyone else saw a boss, she somehow looked at me like a human being. And slowly I let my walls down. I ignored the subtle signs. The way she always seemed to be exactly where important information was discussed. The strangely careful questions she asked about confidential matters. The occasional sadness in her eyes when I talked about how much the company meant to me. Instead of listening to logic, I told myself it was love. I told myself I finally deserved happiness. Eventually, friendship became affection, affection became love, and love became marriage. I thought I had finally found peace in her. She was the perfect wife, supportive, calm, always there when I needed her. She made everything feel easy, effortless, flawless, too flawless. But I didn't question it. When we're happy, we don't like looking too closely at anything. Happiness feels fragile, and I didn't want to risk breaking it. Until the first crack appeared. Our biggest competitors suddenly launched a product identical to one of our most confidential projects. Only a handful of trusted people knew about it. And yes, Emily was one of them. My team suspected betrayal. They started looking at each other with mistrust. They hinted that maybe someone close had leaked information, but I defended her. I defended her like a fool in love does. I even yelled at those who doubted her. I chose her over logic. Then things began to change at home. She became distant sometimes, distracted, restless. There were late-night phone calls she would walk away to take, whispered conversations, deleted messages, a locked phone. Something in her eyes shifted. Love was still there, but behind it, something else lived. Something like guilt or fear. I felt it, I swear I did. But I convinced myself it was stress, nothing more. Until one night she fell asleep on the couch with her phone in her hand. It wouldn't stop buzzing, over and over. I wish I could say I hesitated, but I didn't. Something inside me already knew. I opened it, and my world shattered. There were messages, reports she had sent, confidential files, updates about me, about the company, payments, instructions, and at the top of the chat, the sentence that destroyed my soul. Mission almost complete. He suspects nothing. I stared at the phone while my hands shook. Every memory of us replayed in my head. Every laugh, every kiss, every "I love you." Suddenly all of it felt fake, purchased, practiced, performed. I looked at her sleeping peacefully on the couch, the woman I trusted more than anyone, and I hated myself for still loving her even in that moment. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I didn't collapse. I waited until morning. When she woke up and smiled at me like nothing was wrong, I thought I'd break. When she kissed me good morning and went to make breakfast like a perfect loving wife, I almost believed for a second that maybe I imagined everything. But then I followed her into the kitchen, placed her phone on the counter, opened the messages and watched the color drain from her face. Her whole body trembled. She couldn't speak. Her perfect composure was gone. And then she broke. Completely. She fell to the floor in tears, shaking, sobbing, choking on apologies. And for the first time, I saw no performance, just raw, desperate fear and pain. She confessed everything. She worked for my competitors long before she ever fell in love with me. She was trained to get close. Her job was to gain my trust, get inside my life, inside my company, and slowly destroy it from the inside. Our romance, planned, our relationship, strategized, our marriage, part of a mission. Except one thing hadn't been planned. She really did fall in love. She said she tried to stop it. She said she wanted to confess so many times but didn't know how. She said she hated herself for lying to me while genuinely loving me. She begged forgiveness. She begged me not to leave. She begged like someone drowning. I believed her tears, and that made everything hurt even more. Each sob she cried, each trembling word she spoke, felt like a knife twisting deeper into my chest. I could see the sincerity in her eyes, the regret that dripped from every word, and yet it didn't make the pain any lighter. On the contrary, it made it unbearable. Because even if she truly loved me in the end, she didn't love me in the beginning. Every smile, every tender moment, every whispered "I love you" was carefully planned, measured, executed. That love, the love I thought we shared, was built on a lie. A meticulously crafted lie designed to break me from the inside out. My anger didn't explode in a fiery rage. It smoldered quietly, gnawing at me from within. It ate me alive in slow, relentless waves, leaving me exhausted, hollow, and confused. I felt humiliated, used, ridiculous. The woman I had trusted with my heart, my life, my most intimate secrets, had treated me like a chess piece in a game I didn't even know I was playing. I wasn't her husband. I was her assignment, a project, a goal, a means to an end. I was a tool, a stepping stone, a paycheck disguised as love. Nights became unbearable. Every glance across the dinner table, every touch, every shared laugh suddenly felt tainted with deception. Days blurred into one another, unreal and heavy, as if I was trapped in a dream where nothing was real. I was sharing my life with a woman I loved, a woman who claimed to love me back, yet for so long had viewed me as nothing more than a target to achieve her mission. The betrayal wasn't loud or dramatic. It was subtle, insidious, and intimate. And I didn't know how to exist in that reality, how to reconcile my love with the knowledge of what she had truly done. She tried to fix everything. She handed me every document, every proof, every email, every trace of her previous mission. She risked everything to reveal the truth, her career, her freedom, her very safety. She helped dismantle the network that had sent her, exposing the people who had manipulated her as she once had me. She wanted to make amends, to rebuild the trust she had destroyed. She said she would spend the rest of her life proving her love to me, that she would dedicate herself entirely to showing that what had grown between us after the lies was real. Her voice trembled when she spoke. Her hands shook as she tried to convey the depth of her remorse. She wasn't asking for forgiveness. She was begging for understanding. And somehow, even amidst all that pain, I could see the fragments of truth in her eyes. I could see that she had become someone entirely different from the woman I had once believed I knew. But trust doesn't rise from ashes just because someone wants it to. Love cannot flourish on a foundation built from deception, no matter how sincere the second chance may feel. I didn't leave immediately. I needed time, weeks, months, to sort through the storm inside me, to understand whether I could ever reconcile the woman I loved with the woman who had orchestrated my pain. She gave me space, finally letting me breathe in a home that had once suffocated me with the weight of her pretense. And for the first time in months, she wasn't acting anymore. She wasn't perfect. She didn't try to soothe my hurt with manufactured charm. She wasn't performing. She was just human, vulnerable, scared, broken, real. And that reality, though it showed me her true self, hurt even more. It reminded me that I could finally see who she was, but I could never erase what she had done. The past could not be undone. The betrayal could not be unlearned. The illusion was gone. Eventually, slowly, I understood something important. I could forgive her, perhaps. Maybe deep down, I already had forgiven her in some quiet, secret corner of my heart. But forgiveness didn't erase memory. It didn't erase the betrayal. And love, no matter how profound or sincere, could not rebuild a life shattered by such calculated deception. I could never forget what she had done, never unsee the woman who had once planned to ruin me. I could never again sleep beside someone who had intentionally entered my life to break it. Even the love we found after the lies could not outweigh the scars left behind. So I let her go. Not because I didn't love her, but because for once I chose myself over the pain she had caused. I chose to protect my heart, my life, my sanity. And as I watched her leave, I realized that love, even the purest, cannot survive when trust is weaponized. It is fragile, vulnerable, and it dies in silence when the foundation it is built on is false. Today, my company is stronger than ever. My life is calmer. But I am not the man I once was. I am more cautious. I trust slowly. I pay attention to red flags. I listen to my instincts with the vigilance of someone who has learned that deception often wears the mask of love. And the lesson I carry with me is as painful as it is clear. Sometimes the most dangerous person in your life is not the one who hates you, not the one who fights you openly, but the one who smiles at you, holds you, kisses you, promises forever, while quietly, carefully dismantling everything you are. I married the woman who was sent to destroy me, and by the time I learned the truth, love alone was no longer enough to save us. If you ever feel that something is wrong, don't ignore it like I did. Blind love can cost you everything. It can cost your heart, your mind, your trust, and your peace of mind. Be careful whom you let into your life. Love wisely, and never forget that sometimes the greatest betrayals come from those who hold your heart in their